The reason for which it is the Bank of Ghana that handles monetary policy is that they issue currency and they are responsible for preserving the value of the currency. Additionally, price stability is the first of the 6 economic policy objectives that any government wants to embark on. Speaker, it's not enough to look at a reduction of inflation from 23% to 5% now and say that that justifies the 16 billion Ghana cedi loss of the Bank of Ghana on sterilization. It's not enough. You will recall that in 2025, right here in this chamber, we argued that the method that the Bank of Ghana was using in its attempt to ace the inflation figures were dangerous. Those methods were dangerous, i.e., the excessive sterilization. At that time, it was denied. When the Bank of Ghana published their figures at the end of the year, they themselves admitted that for the first time in Ghana's history, they sterilized over 93 billion Ghana cedis from the market. Sterilization essentially means that the Bank of Ghana has mopped up the money from the system so that people don't have liquidity to execute demand. That's why today the traders are telling you in town that yes, you may say inflation has come down, but their goods are on the shelf and people don't have money to buy. Mr. Speaker, that sterilization cost us 16 billion Ghana cedis. And the majority side has been trying to convince Ghanaians that it's the cost of stability. It is not the cost of stability. It's the cost of bad policy choices. And I'll explain to you, Mr. Speaker. In 2022, inflation was 54% as a result of high crude oil prices. Remember that Brent crude was at $128 per barrel at the time. And so inflation went up to 54%. The NPP government reduced inflation from 54 to 23% before it left office. That was a 31, that was a 31% drop in inflation. We didn't spend 16 billion Ghana cedis to drop inflation by 31 points. You bring inflation down from 23 to 5, which is only 18, and you lose 16 billion. And you say that is the cost of stability. What sort of mathematics is this? What sort of economic policy is this? And so this 16 billion Ghana cedis which they have lost is because of poor policy choices. They paid for things they didn't need to pay for. And that is why we've lost that money. By the way, after we started complaining, now the governor says that he's not going to use this strategy again. So all that we've been saying is right, Mr. Speaker. My second point, exchange rates. This government likes to convince itself that the cedi started appreciating when they came to office. I borrowed the words of the chief whip. We are in a community of reading men, and so we read the 2024 Bank of Ghana report, which was published in 2025 under the signature of Governor Siama. Governor Siama says that the appreciation started in Q4 2024. It didn't start on your watch. And Mr. Speaker, it is because the domestic gold purchase program yielded forex, which forex is being used for intervention. It is only this government that said that it has a new name for intervention called intermediation. Remember, Mr. Speaker, when we said that they were intermediating or intervening and they said intermediation, they denied initially, and at the end of the year we found out that it has been 10 billion Ghana cedis. That's what the Bank of Ghana was coming to tell the press and the whole country, that they said they didn't want you to speak before them. But that was as of December last year. Mr. Speaker, between January and now, how much intervention has gone on? We're expecting the Minister of Finance to tell us when he comes here tomorrow. But, Mr. Speaker, we, according to the IMF, are relying on high gold prices and high gold volumes. What will happen when gold prices go back from this 5-year high where it is at now? We are living on borrowed time, Mr. Speaker. Very finally, if you look at the series of economic and financial data published by the Bank of Ghana,